was very wrong with my game prediction because I predicted the Titans would win. It win 34-26. Derrick Henry would run for 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry would run for more than 105 yards and 2 Tannehill throwing touchdowns, and the Titans would win the turnover battle. And I was proven to be very wrong, because the Bengals ended up winning 31-20. Derrick Henry had one running touchdown, not two. Henry ran for 1 touchdown, not 2 running touchdowns. The Titans lost the turnover battle because the Bengals won the turnover battle. And the Bengals ended up winning 31-20. Titans didn't win 34-26. So the Bengals ended up scoring 8 more points than what I predicted. And the Titans, they were 14 points. They didn't score 34 points. They only scored 20 points. So that's 14. I was wrong by 14 points, which is a high amount in football. And the Bengals, they won the turnover battle, and they just completely outplayed the Titans in the first half, which is why they outscored them 17-7. And then they almost scored the same amount of points in the second half, 14, and end up winning 34-26 in a game that was no heavy lifting for the Bengals, because the Bengals led for most of this game. The game was never tied when it wasn't 0-0. The Titans were never able to get this game tied. They never led in this game, and they gave up 17 points to the Bengals. Scored 17 points in the first half. The Bengals scored 14 points in the second half, so they nearly scored the same amount of points in the second half. And it didn't matter that the Titans ended up scoring double-digit points in the second half, because they still gave up 14 points in the second half to the Bengals, and that was just too much to overcome, along with that Tannehill interception. So it was an extremely disappointing loss that the Titans lost to the Bengals, since this was a winnable game, and the Titans got outplayed by the Bengals in a game that I expected the Titans to win, except they didn't, because the Bengals proved any given Sunday. It was a great win by the Bengals, since they outplayed the Titans, ended up winning 31-20 in a game where the Bengals, they never looked like the Bengals were going to lose this game. And anytime looked like the Titans were actually going to get this game tied, reduce that lead down narrowly, the Bengals continue to move the football, and score points. So it's an extremely disappointing loss for the Titans to the Bengals in what was a winnable game, losing to a Bengals rebuilding team that has a talented rookie quarterback, Joe Burrow, which is why the Titans ended up losing 2 consecutive games. And I didn't expect that, except it did happen. And it's because the Titans got outplayed by the Bengals, much like they got outplayed by the Steelers, and why they lost 31-20 to the Bengals in the jungle.